It was a Saturday, July 16th, 2005 to be exact. I had just got home from a training walk for a cancer thing I was going to do here in Atlanta. I was doing it to honor my mom, who had just finished going through a breast cancer battle. She had surgery, radiation, chemo, and reconstruction surgery, and just months earlier had finally been told she was cancer-free. When I got back home, I should have known something was wrong. My 2 housemates were home. That never happens. We were never home at the same time. They told me that my mom was trying to get a hold of me and that I needed to call her back as soon as possible. That phone call forever changed my life. My mom told me her cancer was back. This time, there was a tumor that was crushing 2 vertebrae in her back. The prognosis was definitely not good. The doctors told her she probably only had 3 years left to live. I hung up confused, sad, and most of all angry. How dare cancer try to attack my mother, my best friend, again? There were a lot of tears that day. Tears as I talked to my brothers and sisters and some of my really good friends. Millions of thoughts ran through my head, including, why my mom? How are we going to deal with this? And even selfish ones like, who's going to help me pick out my wedding dress when she's gone? The next decision, though, was simple. I'm going to move back to Syracuse, where she lived, to spend some time with her and help her in any way I possibly could. It seemed like an obvious choice since I was young and could put my life on hold. See, my siblings were older and were married and had kids. So I packed up my car and moved back home. While it was hard leaving my family and friends and life here, it was great to be home to spend time with that family. Our family knows how to have fun, and we got to spend a lot of great time together. My mom had a blast surrounding herself with her children and grandchildren. Luke, Addison, Kellen, and Grace brought my mom so much joy and lots of distractions from what was going on medically. We celebrated lots of birthdays, holidays, soccer games, and other family outings together. Our family also adopted a philosophy that humor is the best medicine, so we shared lots of laughs too, including some about the future. You'll hear about those more in a minute. While my mom had been through this before with her first diagnosis, I had been living in Atlanta, and although I had come home to visit a lot, I didn't realize how many appointments there were. Wow. CT scans, MRIs, x-rays, chemo, radiation, doctor appointments. Our schedules became busy quickly. My mom had been with the American Cancer Society clinical trial for Herceptin during her first diagnosis. Now they had even more trials and drugs for her to try. We decided to go with tamoxifen, another drug that was available thanks to the American Cancer Society funded research. With all the great work being done by drugs that were discovered thanks to the American Cancer Society, I understood why my mom was so passionate about them. She got very involved with the American Cancer Society's Cancer Action Network, or ACS-CAN for short. ACS-CAN works to push our government to make sure cancer is a priority. My mom believed that cancer must be a national priority of our government if we were going to find a cure. She asked me if I would go with her to Celebration on the Hill, a gathering of other ACS-CAN ambassadors where you meet with your elected officials to let them know we want cancer funding to be a priority. Of course I said yes. How do you say no to your dying mother? See the family humor philosophy? That experience was a turning point in how I looked at my mom's prognosis. Instead of the what will questions, I switched to what if. What if I chose to have an outlook like my mom did? What if I decided to fight back against this terrible disease? Ultimately, it came down to what if I could carry on my mom's legacy. I left DC and returned to Central New York with a brand new outlook. I contacted our local ACS office to ask how I could start a Colleges Against Cancer chapter at the college I was attending. My best friend and I co-founded our CAC chapter in 2007 and had our first relay in 2008. That first year we doubled our goal, raising over $36,000 in the fight back against cancer. My entire family was there to cheer on my mom at the first annual Survivors Lap. The event was extra special because it was inspired by her courageous fight. Over the next 5 years, our college raised over $163,000 to help the American Cancer Society fight back. After volunteering with the American Cancer Society for so many years, I knew that I wanted to work for them. As I tell people, I don't believe in ACS because I work for them. I work for them because I believe in them. In March 2010, I was offered a job with ACS in Atlanta, which I quickly accepted. By now, it had been 5 years since my mom's second diagnosis, and the cancer knew my mom was a fighter, but the cancer was hard at work trying to counter her battle. While getting ready for my move back to Atlanta, I asked my mom if she would move with me. The doctors figured at this point she only had about 9 months left, and I felt that I was still her best caregiver, while also wanting to give her the opportunity for one last adventure. After much family discussion, my mom agreed and moved to Atlanta with me in May. Caregiving for my mom was, without a doubt, the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. It was stressful, physically draining, and an emotional roller coaster. I wouldn't have traded a second of it. On October 17th, 2010, my mom got her angel wings. At her funeral, I spoke about a picture that hung in her bedroom for as long as I can remember. It had a painted candle on it and said, "Life is no brief candle to me. It is a burning torch to be passed on." That torch, that burning torch, that's why I'm here today. I'm going to carry my mom's torch because I refuse to let another person lose their parent to this dreadful disease. My niece Grace was only 18 months old when she lost her grandma, and she has zero memories of her. How dare cancer rob her of that? I relay for future generations so they don't ever have to lose a parent, a grandparent, or a loved one to cancer. My name is Ginny St.Onge, and I am a relayer.